I want to talk about something, and this time it's not languages. I'm from Turkey, and I am a Turk. I'm one of the 85 million Turkish citizens. Turkey is a misunderstood country, or let me put it this way, it's a country on which people have massively different opinions and feelings depending on who you ask. It is this, it is that. Turkey is not Europe, Turkey is too liberal to be Middle Eastern, Turkey is Mediterranean, Turkey is Asian, Turkey is Balkan, Turkey is Euro-Asian, blah blah blah. Is there any country that gets put into this many categories? I don't think so. This also goes the other way. Depending on who you ask in Turkey, people will have quite different ideas about the world and neighboring countries. These views are shaped by various factors such as where people are from in Turkey, their outlook on religion and politics, socioeconomic status, personal perspectives, and approach to life itself. But why should you care about what Turk chap thinks? Good point, you don't have to. But if you're curious to see an average Turk's outlook on Turkey's neighbors, this opinion piece will guide you. The three words that come to my mind when I hear the word Greece is ancient history, islands, and seafood. Yes, seafood, because I love seafood. Alright, Turkey and Greece, the good old topic. Is it Istanbul or Constantinople? Is Hagia Sophia a church or a mosque? Is baklava Turkish or Greek? Is it Turkish coffee or Greek coffee? Turks did this, Greeks did that, this happened, that happened, and the list goes on. On Instagram and Twitter especially, yes, I will never call it X, when an outsider sees the comments between Turkish and Greek accounts, they probably think that Turks and Greeks want to wipe each other off the earth's surface if given the chance. But in reality, we're both broke and cats are the true owners of Istanbul. As a Turk, I'm aware of the bad stuff that happened in the past between the two countries. However, I cannot really believe that an average Turk or Greek is fueled by nationalistic narratives in their daily lives. I mean, most of the public just wants to earn better money, live in better conditions, and not face huge rent prices and inflation. Every year, hundreds of thousands of Turks visit Greece, and vice versa. For an average Turkish citizen, it is exciting to go to Greece because, yes, it's another country, but one that doesn't make you feel far from home. My Greek friends tell me that they experience the same thing in Turkey. The international media might portray that Turkey and Greece are always on the brink of war over the Aegean islands, but in reality millions from each side visit each other's countries, just trying to live a normal life. So, as a Turk from Western Turkey, I can personally say that Greece is a country I feel quite close to from a cultural perspective. Yes, Turkey has a Muslim majority population and Greece has a Christian majority population. We also speak different languages. But we eat almost the same food, drink the same stuff, talk the same, act the same, think the same, and live the same. Whenever I meet a Greek person abroad, I always have this subconscious thought. This person is literally me but speaks a different language I don't understand. I've traveled to Greece multiple times and always had a good experience. Great sights, good and affordable food, and friendly people. Since we lived together for hundreds of years, it is only natural to see so many shared cultural elements. Before we move on to the other country, let me say that we Turks make baklava better and I'm willing to die on this hill. Thank you. The three words that come to my mind when I hear the word Georgia are wine, mountains, and churches. I have a special love and appreciation for Georgia. The country gives me such a warm feeling. I associate the word Georgia with hardworking, sturdy people with an extraordinary cultural heritage. Georgia certainly has its own unique aura and it's unmatched. Also, of course, there is their unique language and writing system. The Georgian script looks quite fantastic to me, with each character resembling flowers. I made a whole video about the Kartvelian languages if you're interested in learning more about the Georgian language. I've been to Georgia multiple times and visited Batumi, Tbilisi, Kutaisi, and Metsketa, and I loved it. I felt that this country with around 3 million people is an underrated gem of the Caucasus. The food and wine were simply amazing. However, unlike many tourists, my favorite Georgian dish was not khachapuri, but kinkali. Also, the historic churches blew my mind. The architecture there is something special. I was in awe of how beautiful the churches and frescoes were. I could literally sit and admire these biblical depictions for hours. Many Georgians travel to Turkey or come to the country to work, and a considerable number of Turkish people visit Georgia. I think many Turkish people would share the same sentiment about Georgia and Turkey being good and peaceful neighbors to each other. Another thing that fascinates me about Georgia is how they were able to protect their heritage and flourish in their ancestral lands despite being surrounded by strong powers throughout history. Georgia, you're amazing. The three words that come to my mind when I hear the word Azerbaijan are ethnic diversity, mountains, and carpets. I guess everyone knows that Azerbaijan and Turkey are the closest political allies. This is indisputable. There is a common saying, "İki devlet tek millet," meaning two states, one nation, which summarizes the level of closeness between the two countries. Also, the Turkish and Azerbaijani languages are highly mutually intelligible. I personally think that Azerbaijan is a very interesting country. The nature, historic spots, and ethnic diversity in the country fascinate me. I'm not sure if this is a 100% accurate map, but here you can see the ethnic minorities and languages of Azerbaijan. I think this is one intriguing side of the country that not many people know about. There are many unique languages and ethnic groups in Azerbaijan, but I personally find the mountain Jews the most interesting. This historic Jewish community inhabits the mountains of northern Azerbaijan and speaks a distinct dialect called Judeo-Tat, which belongs to the Iranic language family. This is generally how I see countries, not so much from a political perspective, but more from the cultural and historical side. Of course, the ties between Azerbaijan and Turkey are strong, and we love each other, but at the same time, we Turkish people should know more about Azerbaijan's cultural diversity and hidden gems. One thing that low-key bothers me is that some Turkish people blindly see Azerbaijan as a brother country but put no effort into learning about the fascinating aspects Azerbaijan offers. I've been to Azerbaijan once for a short period, but it's definitely on my bucket list to go back, rent a car, and explore the country's hidden treasures. I truly believe Azerbaijan is super underrated and deserves more exploration. In college, I studied with many Azerbaijani students and built meaningful relations and friendships with some of them. I personally observed that some Azerbaijanis are more influenced by Russian culture and don't feel much closeness to the Turkish people. However, others who are not Russian influenced feel a strong kinship with Turks. The three words that come to my mind when I hear the word Armenia are churches, language, and Christianity. The common assumption I see on the internet is that Turkish people hate Armenians and blah blah blah. Of course, every nation has people who have strong opinions about other ethnic groups. Wherever you go in the world, you'll meet such people. But I guess I'm not one of them because I simply do not have energy or time to form a specific negative opinion about Armenia. I personally think that Armenia is an intriguing country and Armenians have an interesting heritage. I know they were the first nation to accept Christianity in the year 301, a fact that is pretty well known. In addition, Armenian stonemasonry and architecture is on another level. You can see this reflected in historic Armenian churches and the works of Ottoman-era Armenian architects. Sometimes I travel on Google Maps to explore lesser-known historic spots and ancient ruins in different countries. Before editing this video, I did the same thing for Armenia and saw some fascinating ancient sites. Some of the churches hidden among mountains and forests blew my mind. The Armenian language is another aspect I find intriguing. They have quite a unique language with an extraordinary writing script. Considering that Armenian is not widely spoken, it is really cool that they use a distinct writing system that looks nothing like other alphabets. I'm well aware of the history between the Turks and Armenians, however this isn't something that fuels hatred in me in 2024. As I mentioned, I view things from a cultural perspective. I know several Armenian people personally, and they are all focused on daily life concerns like paying the mortgage, saving money, growing in their careers, and providing for their families. I believe this is true for the silent majority of the people around the world. The hatred you see on the internet doesn't reflect real life. People have far more important goals, concerns, and dreams than hating on XYZ ethnic group. I'm sure there are Armenians on the extreme side too, I don't deny that. I just haven't met anyone in person who had fanatical thoughts. But as I mentioned, from my perspective, I don't see Armenia as any more or less than the rest of the 200 countries in the world. The three words that come to my mind when I hear the word Iran are saffron, Persian Empire, and hospitality. Iran had always been a mystery to me. The Western media, including Turkish media to some extent, portrays Iran as this extremely unsafe country that no one should travel to. But when I traveled to Iran a few years ago, I saw the exact opposite. Yes, it's easy to say this as a guy, but Iran really surprised me in a positive way. The people were super chill and hospitable. One Azerbaijani taxi driver even refused to take money from me despite my insistence. It was also unexpected to meet so many French and Spanish travelers there. I even met a Polish group during a late-night bus ride. Iran has been one of the cradles of ancient civilization and it boasts a unique heritage. Persepolis in particular was one of the most incredible ancient sites I've ever visited. Yes, from the outside it seems like the country is going through a rough patch, but it doesn't stop me from admiring Iran's rich and fascinating heritage. I can confidently say that all the Iranians I met abroad were extremely well educated and genuine people. I can only hope for the best for the Iranian people. The three words that come to my mind when I hear the word Iraq are ziggurats, Baghdad, and ancient churches. Yes, I said churches because Iraq has historically been a very diverse country and boasts some of the oldest churches in the world. Although some of these churches didn't survive the past years of conflict, a considerable number still stands today. These churches belonging to different sects interest me a lot. Another thing that blows my mind is the ancient ziggurats of Iraq. It's amazing how many historic sites Iraq holds, and I hope to see some of them in the near future when things are hopefully more settled. Baghdad has been one of the cradles of civilization. If I had a time machine, I would love to travel back and witness how marvelous Baghdad must have looked before the Mongol invasions. Iraq is a country with a deep historical legacy intertwined with complex modern challenges. The current situation of the country may seem bleak, but the cultural and historical significance of Iraq will always remain fascinating to me. The three words that come to my mind when I hear the word Syria are dead cities, ancient civilization, and civil war. If you ask anyone, the Syrian civil war is pretty much the first thing they think of when it comes to Syria. This also comes to my mind, however, I also know that Syria has a lot to offer from a historical and cultural perspective. Not many people know this, but the dead cities of Syria are perhaps the most extraordinary thing about the country, at least for me personally. And when I say dead cities, I don't mean the modern-day Syrian cities that were destroyed due to the war. The dead cities of Syria are a collection of around 700 ancient abandoned towns in northwestern Syria dating from the Roman and Byzantine periods. These settlements bloomed on agriculture, especially olive oil production and trade, but were abandoned due to shifting trade routes and economic decline. They feature well-preserved ruins of houses, churches, monasteries, and olive oil presses, showcasing a blend of Greco-Roman and early Christian architecture. Recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, they offer valuable insights into early rural Christian communities. Sadly, they are now threatened by modern conflict and neglect. I can confidently say that most of you probably haven't heard about the dead cities. Unfortunately, visiting these sites doesn't seem possible in the near future due to the ongoing conflict. But I really want to explore them in the coming years. I think visiting these dead cities could be the closest I will ever feel to being Indiana Jones. As a Turkish person, I closely witnessed the effects of the Syrian civil war since my country currently hosts the largest number of Syrian refugees. This situation has caused significant demographic problems in Turkey. I hope the situation in Syria stabilizes so the Syrian people can once again have a country they can call home. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.